So I'm going to explain some of the tools that we use at Sedona Quantum Consciousness for raising our vibration, for our energy and our intentions. And one of the first that I want to start with is the Biowell unit, because we want to do an assessment. It's one thing for people to get subjective information on how better they feel after going through a protocol list that we do of transformative tech, neurofeedback, biofeedback, MedBed, right? But it's also good to get some affirmative objective information on this, and so we use a biofield detecting device called the Biowell that looks at, it's a gas discharge visualization camera that essentially is mapping the photonic energy coming off of our fingers, right? The light coming off of our fingers through the meridians of the body onto the various places in the body, the organs, tissues, right, aspects of the body. And so it will get an assessment of how healthy, how much light is in each of these areas. And the same information can be used to look at the chakra balance and how one's stress level is doing, how left and right balance is, whether it's out a bit, and one's autonomic nervous system, whether it is out of balance. So there's the tool for fairly quick assessment can give us a lot of information, especially when it comes to dialing in one's stress level, right? And this is probably the most important aspect of the tool, is being able to ascertain one's stress physiologically or emotionally. A quick pre-post intervention is nice, and so we'll often do that for those people that come for our extended services. We'll do pre and post in one day or over the course of 3 or 4 days, if you are here for 3 or 4 days. So that's tool number one. Number two on our transformative technology list is Capnometry biofeedback. And this is a type of biofeedback that few practitioners have, few if any for that matter, because it is looking at our breathing chemistry, our breathing health, right? And this is a true window into not just our autonomic nervous system and on how healthy that is, right? But it also our heart rate variability and our pH throughout the body. And we're not talking about pH of the GI tract, we're talking about the pH of the cerebrospinal fluid, lymphatic system, blood cells, and blood plasma, right? So this pH is a real big deal. So looking at a person's chemistry is critical to understanding what needs to be tweaked in their breathing habit in order to help them dial in healthier physiology. And so this is really important in the 3D world, but it's also important for moving in the ascension process, for calming down the mental chatter. So if we can bring the breathing and the heart into coherence and the mind into coherence, then we really have a much better chance of calming down the system and helping us sleep better at night, make better decisions during the day, and just live a much longer lifespan, health span, I should say, because we are breathing at a slower pace, and we're also, our heart rate is down considerably. So this is a little bit of training. So it's both kind of an assessment tool as well as training that can be done in a single session. That's the beauty of it. Then maybe it could be done again, if you're here for 4 days, it could be done as a follow-up to see how well your training is taking place at the end of 4 days. A third tool that we'll use at SQC is neurofeedback, and this really changes how the brain is tuned in, right? One of the most important things that we value as humans is behavioral flexibility, or that we should value is behavioral flexibility. So being able to move from one aspect of life to another. If we need to be sleeping, to be able to get to sleep. If we need to be in go mode, in task mode, to be able to get that done efficiently. If we need to be able in rest and digest in just kind of a peaceful state, we want to be able to get there. And that should be our default state, right? Is this more relaxed state, because it brings the heart rate down, it brings the mental chatter down. And so primarily what we're training with, what we call neurosynchrony training, is how to get into these alpha waves and how for this to become the baseline. So this is where a 3-day retreat is invaluable, because we'll do this 2 times per day for an hour each, is get those brain waves, those alpha waves, those synchronous alpha waves really popping, so that you know where this default state is, so that we are in a more stressless state, right? And it changes our breathing pattern, changes our mental pattern, and it changes how we sleep. So To integrate all this, after we've done these interventions, we'll move to the MedBed, right? Where it's really part of the ascension process. It's difficult to say exactly what is going on with the MedBed itself, but you can feel it once you're in there. You're in a lucid dreaming state for the period of an hour, essentially. Sensitive people can kind of feel themselves moving up and being worked on by angels, we'll say, but you can hear it in your microbiome, some gurgling going on. You can feel energy coming through your body. You definitely feel different at the end of a session, and different people have different experiences after 10, 12 sessions. At a minimum, we suggest 5 sessions. If you're only here for a few days, we'll allow a session or 2 per day, but it is part of that integration process, especially after the neurofeedback. And it can be used separately on its own too. The jury's out as to how we haven't had people do this extensively, so there's not extended research. We can just say that subjectively it is having an effect on those people that partake, and so myself included. So these are the primary tools. We do have others, biocharging being a big one, because it's always enjoyable to be in collective spirit with our intentions, with our energy, with the amplification. And so we'll do biocharging certainly on Fridays, often Tuesdays as well. And there'll be other days as we move further with SQC at ULM on how often we do this biocharging, but we do it as a group, and we'll set intentions ahead of time, and we'll be in prayer for a little bit in that heart space of lifting our own consciousness and others in this space of gratitude in order for our intentions to come to fruition, as well as for these protocols with the biocharger. There's thousands of them, or I should say 8,000 of them, and they can have a healing effect on our body, our physiology, and our mental health as well. So those change each week, each day. So feel free to come more than 1 day a week to these biocharging sessions. They're definitely epic. All right, this is your medicine. This is the new medicine. Come and visit. Thank you.